The Clarkston Independence District Library Board of Trustees meeting will come to order for January 5th, 2015. The meeting is called to order at 5:30. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Gaffney? Here. Michelle Ginn? Here. Dan Green?
Here.
Mary Himberg?
Here.
Sally Lamb?
Here.
Allison McFadden Kiesling absent. Marilyn Pomeroy?
Here.
Julie Meredith here.
Okay, I'll accept a motion to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Who seconded?
I do.
Mary. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. Any comments or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. We have a call to the public.
Hi. We have not met since your last board meeting, but I do have a couple of quick items. Our board meetings will continue except in a couple of special occasions to be the second Wednesday of the month. And instead of meeting in the afternoon, we will now be meeting at 7 p.m. So we invite any of you to come and become part of our group. It's more informal, and we always love having people come in and being part of the discussions. Also, at this point, we're working with Christina and the library staff on the February 8th open house here at the library.
Okay, great, thank you. Any other public comment? If not, we will close the call to the public, and I'll accept a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to remove any item for discussion? If not, those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Now, library statistics. I understand Bill has assembled the entire year end.
He has, yeah, he's done December through the end of the year, and then he did, he's been receiving these statistics from him since August, so he did a compilation of August through December. And then I have the notes, just a few notes from comments from some of the staff like I do each month. From the head of Children's and Teen Services, Tracy Bedford reported that we had 152 people attend the Reindeer Games event on Monday, December 22nd. We're really pleased with this turnout so close to the holiday. Children decorated cookies, made reindeer feed to sprinkle in their yards for Santa's reindeer, played reindeer ring toss and other activities. And Alan Partington from Clarkston Spark created a 3-minute video of the event that is available on the children's page of the library website, so you might want to pop in and take a look at that. Natalie Molnar, who is our part-time teen librarian, has created a teen advisory board, which is a group of teenagers to help guide the library in creating programs and collections that inspire teenagers to use and enjoy the library. Their first meeting was in December. The teens were enthusiastic and came with a number of great ideas to work on. And then from our head of technical services, Brad Reuter, our new head of technical services, has been working with the librarians to develop and produce reports to help them assess the current collections and create goals to weed and add new materials to fit the community's needs. So that's an ongoing project.
Excellent.
I appreciate the statistics report. This is a nice picture of how the library is being used and how frequent it's visited.
And once we have a full all the way around the year that we've been gathering this particular setup of data, then we'll start to give you some comparisons of what we noticed from this year versus last year and things like that.
Yeah.
It'd be a very useful tool.
Very useful.
Yep.
All right. The library director's report.
Just general information, on December 16th, the library experienced a partial power outage. We had lights in about 3/4 of the building, but no computers or servers to run them. The estimate from DTE to restore power was 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And it used to be standard policy by the previous fire inspector that if the library had a power outage of any kind, that we would close and allow minimal staff in the building. He was working under the assumption that if we had a partial power outage, it was a brownout situation and the building was electrically unsafe. However, we don't usually experience a partial power outage, or what we usually get is a partial power outage, which is these lights work and those lights don't, not a reduced power outage as in a brownout situation. So during this outage, I asked the new fire inspector to visit the building while this was going on to assess whether the building is actually unsafe in these partial power outage circumstances. He was really surprised by how much light and power we actually had and determined that the building was not unsafe. He said he was not uncomfortable with us opening as long as I prepped the staff to assist patrons to the exits should the power go out completely and leave the building in darkness. Although one caveat, this building, because of all the windows, is seldom completely in darkness. At this time of day it might be, but this was a morning situation, so. He did say in the future that he is comfortable with us determining whether to close the building based on what portion of power is out, using the safety of the public and the staff as a guideline, and he is happy to help us if we need to figure out what the standards are for that. Next item, as of January 2nd, 2015, the library's new hours are Monday through Thursday 10 to 9, Friday and Saturday 10 to 6, and Sunday 1 to 6, and the library will be closed summer Sundays from June 14th through Labor Day. Yesterday was our first open Sunday since December 2012. We had 115 visitors, and I'm sure it will increase significantly as people discover our new hours, and we do have an ad in the paper this week to let people know that we're doing that, and it's on the front page of our website. Okay. In terms of finance, in an effort to fulfill the best practices recommended by our auditor, we've been working on a number of small projects. We've updated our offsite financial data storage to meet their recommendation. That was done a few months ago. We made all budget adjustments prior to the end of the fiscal year. We've expanded the record retention to meet the guidelines, and we'll be updating the credit card policy on tonight's agenda. The final item is to install a drop safe in order to minimize staff access to the main safe. We have a safe company coming in this week to make an assessment and recommendation, so this final item should be complete in a few weeks. And plenty of time for the next audit. Collaborations and projects. The library will be participating in Shiver by the River in Depot Park on Saturday, January 17th from 1 to 4 p.m. This free outdoor event includes ice skating, craft projects in a heated tent, bonfires for making s'mores, chili and hot cocoa, sledding, and snowman building, snowshoeing, and much more. And then also the library will be holding an open house on Sunday, February 8th, as mentioned by Marianne Barron from the Friends of the Library. That's from 1 to 5 p.m. I have 6 p.m. here, but it's actually 5 p.m. to celebrate the expanded hours and show the community the variety of materials, programs, and services that we offer. In addition, we'll use this as an opportunity to gather information about other ways the community would like to see the library improve and develop in the coming months. Just want to make sure people don't forget.
Thank you. Any questions? All right. Regular business. We have 3 items of regular business this evening, and the first one is the election of 2015 officers. So we'll accept nominations for each office and vote on that office before moving to the next item. So we will start with with a recommendation for president. We'll accept nominations.
I would nominate Marilyn Pomeroy for president.
I second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to nominate Marilyn Pomeroy as president. Are there any other nominations for president? No. In that case, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Thank you very much. I accept. That's good. Now, vice president. We'll accept a motion for vice president.
I move to have Mickey Ginn for vice president.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to appoint Michelle Ginn as vice president. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I'll accept a motion for treasurer.
I move to appoint Jan Gaffney as treasurer.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to appoint Jan as treasurer. Are there any other nominations? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Nay? Congratulations, and thank you very much. And finally, a move to nominate our secretary.
That's me right now.
I move to appoint Mary Hamburg.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any other nominations for secretary? No. In that case, all those in favor of Mary Hamburg as secretary, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Mary. Thank you. All right. Second, a review of the credit card policy. And that is in our packet.
Oops, you have it backwards in your packet. Sorry about that.
Ah,
Sorry, I copied the pages in the wrong order.
Yeah.
I have it as item number 2 on the agenda and item number 3 in your packet. I apologize.
Keeps us on our toes.
That's right.
we can find it. We have it.
Apparently, I shuffled the pages before I put them in. Okay, so the credit card policy, as part of the best practices recommendation by the auditor, we need to update our credit card policy to include a couple of key details. Attached is the proposed policy, including all of the updates indicated by the auditor. And I did look at not only what the auditor recommended, but several other libraries, and this is pretty standard.
What's the major difference between this and what we have?
What we have was not fully documented. So basically, we were following all of those policies, but they wanted something that was formally approved by this board. What we had done was approved blanket policies for the library. The board never actually looked at this one independently and voted specifically on this one. And that's what they wanted to have us have in place.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
I do just have a question at number 3. It says the director shall annually designate the staff members who are authorized to use a library credit card, shall inform the library board, and shall complete the necessary paperwork. My question on that was, Julie, can you say these staff members now, and then can you come back to us and say you want to have different staff members, or just appoint?
Currently, our policy is that all of the full-time employees have access to the credit card.
Okay,
and I left it
simpler.
And I left it in this manner in case at some point you decided you wanted to change that, or we decided that there was a staff member who didn't actually, a full-time staff member who didn't need one, or a full-time staff member who didn't want one, because there are responsibilities attached to it. It used to be that the library's credit card was an organizational credit card, but now the law has changed, and if you accept an organizational credit card, you personally have to put your social security number on it and take full responsibility for it.
Okay.
Now, essentially what happens is the library will take responsibility for it, but it does have your name and your social security number attached to it. So if any staff member wanted to refuse that, or felt they didn't need it, or if the library board decided that we had a staff member who didn't really have any reason to be purchasing, that we could change that list. But at this time, it is all the full-time employees have a credit card.
But the cards are still held here?
They are held in the safe. They have to check them out of the safe. They are not allowed to keep them in their wallets or in their purses overnight unless authorized by myself or by Debbie. They're supposed to bring it back the very next day. All receipts must come back, and they are responsible for making sure those receipts come in, and if there are any charges that we cannot get a receipt for in order to prove that it was a legitimate library purchase, then they would be responsible for that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be clear that, because it would seem like all the full-time employees, all the department heads would at some time probably need to have access to it.
Where it
That's what I
becomes
wanted to make sure.
where it becomes a gray area is that when we were a department of the township did authorize some part-timers to have credit cards as well. And we've never done that here. So I left it open-ended that if we ever wanted to change that, we could.
Sure.
Without having to change the entire policy, I would just come in with a different list and say, we'd like to change the list for this year. So.
I would move that we approve this policy as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments? I had one question approximately how often per year does this credit card get used?
We use it fairly regularly. We don't, I would say probably an average amount that we spend per month on the credit card. There's a $5,000 limit, but usually it's under $1,000 per month, and it's for incidentals that are either difficult to purchase via invoice, craft supplies, if there's something that they need to run out and pick up at Kroger, that kind of thing. But we do follow the making sure that we're not paying sales tax and that kind of thing. So.
And you just pay it off.
And then we pay it off every month, yeah.
Always good fiscal policy.
Yeah, none of the purchases that can go on the credit card, they would all have to be budgeted items. It's just some incidental items are easier to pick up
To just pick them up.
at a store. For example, if we had a cable that we needed in an emergency, something that runs the projector, Bill could run out to Best Buy and pick it up on his credit card.
And it's actually probably more secure than a petty cash, which would be the other option for that kind of
Exactly.
item. So.
Yep.
And easier for the employee than trying to pay for it, get the receipt, bring it back.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor,
Aye.
please say aye.
Aye.
So, well, lost my train of thought. All those in favor of the credit card policy as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Thank you. Policy passes. Now, the installation of a UPS box.
The business librarian received a request to add a UPS drop box at the library. Since many online retailers offer easy return options involving a pre-printed shipping label that allows the customer to simply drop the package off with a UPS driver or add a drop box, this could be a convenient service for our patrons. She contacted UPS and received the attached agreement. Upon further investigation, the next nearest UPS drop box is at the UPS store on Dixie Highway near White Lake Road. In addition, UPS makes a stop at the library each day, so this is not an added burden for UPS. As per the agreement, UPS takes full responsibility for installation, removal, and liability for the box. And lastly, the attached map indicates the area in which the box could be conveniently placed near appropriate lighting without creating obstruction to any library services. So the agreement is simply one page, and it basically says that UPS takes full responsibility. And then on the map, basically the location that Melissa is recommending, there's a little light pole that's near the end of this sidewalk, just past the drop box. It could be attached to the sidewalk there, so it would be, it wouldn't be a drive up and drop it right in from the sidewalk. It would be back underneath the light. But basically, the agreement is with a 30-day agreement, so if we decided we didn't want it anymore, we could contact them, and within 30 days, they would take it out. They would pay to have the sidewalk repaired. I mean, I don't really see there's any
Downside.
downside. We
And
couldn't.
it's a nice service to
We
provide.
tried to find a downside to this in order to make sure that what we were doing, and we couldn't really find one.
How big is the drop box?
It's about the size of a standard
a
blue mailbox.
Okay.
Mhm.
Could be
By the-
confused with the blue mailbox.
No, they're the brown, and it's very distinctively a UPS
Gold
box.
or
Yeah, they're the
yellow.
brown and white.
When I
And
read this, I thought it was United States Postal Service. When I read this before I
Well,
came here, and I got confused.
we did have somebody ask us about that as well
Yeah.
several years ago, and the Orion Township Library went through a lot of hoops to try and get one. The United States Postal Service is trying to reduce the number of those, and so they jumped through a lot of hoops to get it. They finally got one, and then USPS decided that it wasn't getting enough usage, so they took it out. So that, I suppose, could potentially happen here as well with UPS, but UPS has agreed that they'll pay to put it in, they'll pay to take it out, and they're here every day anyway,
So
so
it's worth a try.
we would happily take one from the US Postal Service, but I've been told not to even bother trying. So.
Well, and if you had business with them, you would go to White Lake. But if you're just dropping it off,
Yeah.
this is a convenient.
Yeah.
And it is on this side of town, whereas the next nearest one is on the other side of town, and somebody said this would be really convenient for the people that live on this side as they drive toward I-75. So we couldn't really find a reason not to give it a shot.
Options are good.
Yeah.
Well, I move to approve the proposal to install a UPS box as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the proposal to install a UPS box as presented. Any questions or commentary?
Just one. Has this been determined that it's not going to interfere with our drop?
It won't interfere with, it's actually further down the sidewalk. It's a little bit hard to see on the map. But our book drop is at the end of that little piece of sidewalk. Our book drop is right in the building, whereas this would be a little bit further down where the sidewalk continues to slope around. So it would be further down and sort of beyond that brick patio that the garden club put in. So they're both conveniently located. They would be in a similar place where you might stop your car to use one or both, but they're not so close together that it would be a problem. And that is part of the sidewalk clearing that our snowplow guy does, so we wouldn't have to worry about anybody. It's already part of what's included, so it wouldn't be any additional cost to make sure that it's cleared.
As those days are now upon us.
Yes. Santa.
Any other question or comment? If not, those in favor of approving the proposal to install a UPS box as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The motion is approved. And at this point, then, I will accept a motion for adjournment.
I so move.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn tonight's meeting at 6, what is that?
5:55.
It's
5:55.
yeah.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? None. We stand adjourned at 5:55.
Maybe